All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. April 15th, we got ourselves a Friday. We got some NBA basketball, the last games of the play-in tournament here to see who is going to take on in the Eastern Conference the #1 seed in the East, the Miami Heat. Is it going to be the Hawks? Is it going to be the Cavs? And then on the Western Conference side of things, we have the Pelicans and Clippers battling it out to take on the #1 seed in Phoenix. We're going to jump into each game. I'm going to give you my lean against the spread, what I'm thinking, but my final plays, as always, will be in the pinned comment, guys. So make sure to check out that pinned comment throughout the day. We'll also be adding some player props in there throughout the day. We got to get back on track. So far, playoff basketball has absolutely just had its way slapping me around the court, but we'll get back on track here. I do have two crazy player props. Like, I'm a psycho for these player props coming in at the end of this video as well. I know we don't always get two player props in the video, but I do have two that I've already locked in here, but I'll get to those at the end of the video, both in the Pelicans and Clippers game. But before we get to any of the picks and stuff today, guys, I'm gonna ask you guys, I can't even talk right now, to please hit that subscribe button. We are on our way and grinding towards 10,000 subscribers, and I cannot, you know what? You guys get the applause. You guys get the applause for all of you that have subscribed or just did subscribe when I said it. I really do appreciate it. So if you wouldn't mind hitting that subscribe button, make sure to do that. And then I do want to say thank you, as always. Let's drop the music. Want to say thank you here to the ballers, the individuals that choose to truly support this channel on a monthly basis. We'll give these shout outs here. We'll run through it like I always do. We have Dennis, Alex, the Anchor, Ricky, Jimmy, Keenan, Zapata, Jameson, Pancho, Corey, the Roof Doctor, Julian, Nick, McPaxton, John, Larry, Pagong, Drew, Corey, Trady, Sherwin, Edwin, Carmelita, Eric, Expect, Thomas, Sam, Harold, and Fizz. Can't thank you guys enough for the support, guys. If you do want to become a baller, get shouted out in every video, have a badge next to your name in the comments, use custom emojis, and then also, like we did a couple NBA videos ago, we had Dennis, the OG baller, come in and provide a video for the video, a video within a video, a little Inception style. Make sure you guys do join the ballers, $2.99 a month. Really, truly show your support, and then also get some cool perks as well. So that link will be in the pinned comment as well as the Discord link. Great place for added explanation and picks, and also just a bunch of people kicking around good bet ideas. But we might as well jump right into it here. We've had a rough go about so far in these playoff games, but I'm here for the fight. We got the Cleveland Cavaliers hosting the Atlanta Hawks here. Cleveland 2-point underdogs in this one. The total is 223. I'll say first and foremost, these playoffs, as we've been seeing them, usually you think defense tightens up in the playoffs and everything like that, which I will admit, I think defense does tighten up in the playoffs, but I don't know if we've necessarily seen that come tried and true totally in these play-in games. The defense has been there, but it's been kind of on the fence. So I do like the idea of the over in this one. That's going to be a lean for me. I'll get right out there and say that. I always tell you guys, I'm not the best at totals. Last year we killed totals. That was one of our best categories in buckets. This year, not so much, so we've stayed away from them, just in full transparency. But I do like the total 223. I could see this easily being 115 to a 115 type ball game, being a 230 type of game, and that blows out that total. But again, the Hawks are 2-point dogs here. Cleveland coming off of that loss to Brooklyn, in which they did fight back and ended up covering there. That line got up to 9.5, and they ended up covering. They lost by 7 points. Atlanta took it to Charlotte. Absolutely took it to Charlotte. If we look at some trends here, Atlanta's 8-2 against the spread in their last 10 games. They're 8-2 straight up in their last 10 games as well. 4-1 in their last 5 games against Cleveland against the spread. 4-1 straight up in their last 5 against Cleveland. They're 5-12 against the spread in their last 17 games on the road. So that's the first sort of like, okay, and this will come up clutch as to why I'm giving you my lean in just a minute or so. Why I'm kind of like, okay, 5-12 against the spread in their last 17. That's a little dicey, right? If you look at their last 10 games here, they're 3-2 straight up, and then against the spread, they're 3-2 as well on the road. On the season, they're 16-25 against the spread and 14-27. So they are not the away team that they are, or they're not the team that they are when they're away than they are on the road. In terms of some Cleveland trends here, they're 4-9 against the spread in their last 13 games. They were not the Cleveland covering Cavaliers to finish out the season. They're 1-4 straight up in their last 5. The total's gone over in 14 of their last 20 games against Atlanta. Another reason why I do like that. In their last 7 games at home, they're 2-5 against the spread. And if we looked at it, like I said, Atlanta 4-1 in their last 5, but their last 3, Atlanta 6.5 point favorites back at the end of March. They beat Cleveland 131-107. We go a game back from that, right? We go a game back from that. It was February 15th. Cleveland was 2.5 point dogs at home. They lose by 8. And then one more game here. Atlanta underdogs on December 31st. They were 2-point underdogs. They win 121-118 and cover that, obviously, and then win the game outright. I think that this is just a very good matchup for Atlanta here. And what I'll say is I think I might sprinkle -2 on the lean, but then also what I'm going with a heavy lean, which probably ends up being a final play, is a money line play for the Hawks. The fact it's only 2 points here, you could still get about -130 on the money line, and I guess you're giving up a little bit too much juice there if you do kind of draw the line at 130 or 140 or something like that. But I will tell you right now, I'm probably locking in money line, and I'm going to think long and hard about that -2 because it's only 2 points. I get it. It's one bucket, but this game could come down to a 117-116 game. And if we put all our eggs in that basket, all of a sudden Atlanta, it's like, oh, well, they don't cover on the road. Well, I think they can at least get this win on the road because this Cleveland team hasn't been playing well at home. So that sort of like road home thing kind of cancels out. I'm going with the better team here, the team that I feel actually deserves to be here. Like, think of where Atlanta was last year, and meanwhile, the Cavs kind of just surprised everyone this year. So lean here on the game is going to be Atlanta money line. I'm going to lean over, and then also leaning partially there on the spread there, -2. So you got 3 leans in one game. Make sure to keep an eye on the pinned comment for what we'll actually be rolling with. And speaking of that pinned comment, I will also take this time to shout out the Fade Me collection, the merch. I do appreciate you guys sending in. I know they haven't shipped out yet. They're about to ship out, but the people that have sent me the DMs being like, hey, just picked it up, got it, this is awesome. We got a couple different designs. This is obviously the cool, I can't say that, the Blue Mountains version of it. The adult beverages, we took some beer companies and really played with the logo there. So shame on me, but I think they're pretty cool looking and pretty cool shirts. So make sure to check that out. That'll be in the pinned comment in the description as well. But let's move into the Clippers hosting the Pelicans. And again, I have 2 player props that I'm probably going to get heat in the comments for this game. But it is what it is. I'll get those player props at the end of the video. We have the Clippers here, 4-point favorites over the Pelicans. This Pelicans team, 42-40 against the spread, 42-40-1 against the spread this season. Same exact against the spread, I guess inverse spread here, 40-42-1 for the Clippers. But the Clippers kind of came on strong late in their last 10 here. 5-1 at home against the spread. They're 4-2 at home. They're home tonight. And this Pelicans team, 2-3 against the spread in their last 5 on the road. Don't totally love it. They did kind of, really control that game against San Antonio. I know they ended up only winning by 10, but to me, watching that game, and then when I wasn't watching the game, watching the box score, I had San Antonio plus 5.5 and almost knew that was never going to really ring true there. LA on the other hand here, tough loss to Minnesota. That was a game which it seemed like it was in their hands, and they just did not come through with the game. So I like the momentum they have coming into this game, but let's look at some trends here. LA 4-2 against the spread in their last 6 games. The total has gone under. The total, I forgot to mention, is 215.5. I'm staying away from that because that's such a low number. I'm not going for an under on that game. And a lot of numbers, you'll see when I go through these trends, lean towards the under here, but I'm not leaning that way. Total's gone under in 4 of their last 5 games. Clippers are 5-1 straight up in their last 6 games. Total's gone under in 4 of their last 5 games against New Orleans, and they're 5-0 straight up in their last 5 games at home, and 4-1 straight up in their last 5 games when playing at home against the Pelicans. Some good numbers there, and some good trends there for Clippers playing at home. The Pelicans under in 10 of their last 14 games. Again, everything points to the under, but the total's 215. A little bit too low for your boy, but they're 6-3 straight up in their last 9 games, 6-1 against the spread in their last 7 games against the Clippers. New Orleans 5-1 straight up in the last 6 games against the Clippers, and the unders hit in 6 of their last 8 games on the road here. And this is sort of the trend that I kind of put a star next to. They're 1-4 straight up in their last 5 games when playing on the road against the Clippers. And I'll tell you guys, I put a lot of weight into that, and then a lot of weight into the 4-1 straight up when they're playing when the Clippers are at home against New Orleans. Obviously, those are mirror stats there, but our lean on this one is going to be the Clippers -4. I think that this Clippers team got Paul George back, gets a little bit healthier, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh no, we're actually a good basketball team. Like, let's not forget where this team was or could have been if they were healthy all year long. And I'm even throwing out the idea of Kawhi Leonard. Some of the guys that stepped up in the Clippers, then getting Paul George back, I think is a really, really good sign for them. Luke Kennard is questionable in this one, and then no new injuries for the Pelicans, guys. So I'm going to lean the Clippers in this one, -4, definitely staying away from the total. And I honestly might look at the money line as well if we could get in some sort of a parlay. We might go with a parlay today, if I'm being completely honest. So keep that in mind. But we're going to be leaning Clippers here, -4. And then I do have 2 player props. And again, I said you guys are probably going to think I'm a psycho for these player props, but 2 player props that I've already looked at and locked in here. First one's going to be Brandon Ingram under 23.5 points, and plenty of people might come up here being like, okay, Brandon Ingram just dropped 27 points, 57.9% from the floor, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, played so good against the Spurs, right? Yeah, right. I can't defend that. But prior to that, Ingram, 17 points, 15 points. He did have that 29-point night against the Lakers and then 19 points against Portland. He hasn't played under 28 minutes in all those games. So he's getting his fair share of a minutes allotment here. And then if we look into the defense here in the last 7 games of the Clippers, they play good defense. Number 1 team against shooting guards. Brandon Ingram has been playing the 2 guard as CJ McCollum's moved up to the 1. Herb Jones has gotten more and more minutes. But even when we want to look at it from a small forward perspective, still a very good defensive team in the Clippers. And in fact, positions aside, they're the 4th best team against opposing players, scoring against them in the league. But shooting guard here, that kind of drew me. And the way that he's been playing, where he's been starting, getting the number as the number 2 starter in terms of being the 2 guard, the Clippers number 1 team defensively there. And even if he slides down and plays the 3 like is more of his natural position, then you're going to be dealing with some really good defenders like Paul George covering you. This Clippers team really sort of in the last week or so, I would say 2 weeks, really upped the defensive caliber. And I think that Brandon Ingram, 23.5 points, I think is a totally fair line. I think we got -102 odds on it. So clearly very, very back and forth in this one. It's a little bit riskier of a play, but we're going under on one of, if not the best scorer on the Pelicans here, 23.5 points. And like I said, he's hit that 3 out of his last 5. And in his last 5 games, averages 21.4 points per game in 32 minutes. And he's been shooting 44.5% from the field. So while maintaining his season pretty much average field goal percentage, 21.4 in terms of his points per game in the last 5. So we're going to ride that trend. Next up, this is where I think you guys think I'm crazy. This is where I think you guys are going to think I'm crazy. We're also going to be rolling with CJ McCollum under 25.5 points. Again, I'm not going to go through how good the Clippers are defensively or everything like that, again, because they're a good defensive team, become a very good defensive team, especially getting Paul George back. CJ McCollum here, I'm not going to go and read too much into the fact that he's averaged 18.8 points per game in his last 5, because he did have a game where he played 6 minutes, 0 points, so we're not going to weigh that too much. But he's coming off a 32-point night, and that's where you could be like, what the heck, Ev? 32 points in his first play-in game. You were on the wrong side of his under there. Why would you go and take this again? Well, first off, Clippers, good defensive team. Brandon Ingram, I think it's going to be Brandon Ingram and CJ McCollum. I think it's going to be a tough shooting night for them. I think that this is the type of team, this type of game where the Clippers dominate it. And if you look past that 32-point night, you see 16, 23, 23, 19, 25, 18, and then you get into where CJ McCollum absolutely was going off and crushing this line. But that was almost, a week, 2 weeks ago. So I'm going to be leaning CJ McCollum here. Again, he can have 24 points and have a very good game. I'm just hoping he doesn't go for 26. We had him in the under last game, and he went out and absolutely crushed it. Shot 52% from the field, 60% from 3, and that's how he ends up with 32 points in 39 minutes too. So I'm leaning 2 unders there that you guys are going to think I'm crazy. I totally get it, but I do want to know what you guys have to say in the comments. Let me know what you think on those picks. But as always, drop that hashtag ride of the day in the comments. I'll be picking one player prop, one pick, whatever you guys got. I'll be picking one person in the comments and jumping on board with one of your plays. You guys get a shout out in the next video, win or loss. But that's going to wrap it up for today's video, guys. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. As always, I thank you to all of the ballers. Again, come fly high with a $2.99 a month. Really show your support, and I do really, really, really appreciate it. And I know I say that so much, but I truly do appreciate it. So that is going to wrap it up for today's video. Best of luck, everyone, tonight. Let's make our pockets heavier, and as always, peace out.